Sync audio, visual, and rolling. Roll tape. Alright, so this week I want to tell a story. This is a crazy story. I have video to prove it. Wait till the very end to develop a full picture of what exactly you think is going on here. Alright, so this is on my last appointment. I found out a couple months before that I was going to be taking this job as a liaison officer for my brigade, the first armored rotation into Eastern Europe in I don't know, ever maybe. I was going to be taking this job as a liaison officer to the embassy in Warsaw and Polish GenCom, which is their version of the Pentagon. So I'm emailing the guy that I'm going to be replacing, getting to know him, find out coming back from Christmas leave that I'm actually going to have to leave like 4 days after New Year's Day. So I'm coming in to Warsaw and we're doing a quick changeover just to, he's trying to like introduce me to everyone. So, I mean, one of the first nights I'm there, it's like probably the first night after a full day that I've been there. We go to dinner so he can introduce me to some of the people that I'd be working with at the embassy, permanently at the embassy, all Americans. So we go to this place called Club Hiranda. It's like, I mean, just off Novi Sviat or New World Street, which is one of the most popular streets, like maybe Warsaw's 5th Avenue, and literally 5-10 minute walk from the presidential palace, so like their White House. So it's in like a built up, like fancy part of town. There's 2 levels to this. So there's a basement with like a club and they do like a lot of events, live music, and I found out later that they do like international dancing type stuff, so maybe like salsa, stuff like that. Above it is a restaurant and bar. So that's where we're at. And I actually have a picture I found on there. So looking at this picture, we're in the middle table on that back wall. To the right of us were just some random students. And then to the left of us were these people that this story is about. So we get in there, I'm getting to know these people. It's the first time that I'm hanging out with them. So I really only know the guy that I'm replacing just through email and Facebook and whatnot. Halfway through, this guy who I can only describe as the Eastern European version of like an Italian gangster looking guy. Really a clean cut, organized crime looking alpha dude. And then he's obviously got these 2 guys just kind of with him. They sit down right next to us and they start heavily drinking. And I never really saw anyone drink like this for the rest of my time in Poland, but it is, from what I understand, a popular method of drinking where you just order a bottle of vodka and then maybe have like a Coca-Cola chaser. And I mean, these guys are just taking shot after shot of vodka right next to us and they're starting to get really, really drunk. So just my initial impression of these guys and then the way that they're drinking, I'm starting to assume the worst. This is like a weird situation. We're a little put off. We're even talking about it, I think, amongst ourselves. We'd order these appetizers and they gave us an extra basket, so we gave that to them. We're trying to sober them up. In response, they order a bottle of vodka for our table. And we're like, it's just like not that type of night, okay? You know, trying to get to know these guys. I gotta work tomorrow, okay? I mean, they take the bottle, they start doing that bottle too. So at this point, they're sitting at our table, and then this happens.
This guy's a professional arm wrestler. Like, he's toying with you. He's toying with you. Come on. Stop talking.
The bald guy in the video is an Illinois National Guard. If you don't know, around Chicago there are a lot of Polish people. He's a Polish-born American citizen who's in the National Guard and deployed to one of our embassies. Each one of our embassies has a military attaché and he's just working with them. So, I mean, he's fluent in Polish. In the video it looks like our guy lost, but he actually lasted him out and ended up winning. So I think we endeared ourselves to him. You know, I asked what we're doing there and we tell him that we're in the military, and he liked that. And at one point in broken English, this is around the time of the election, he looks at the table and goes, Obama or Trump? And one of my buddies who isn't in the video, pictured in the video, he goes, Obama! And this guy loses it. He immediately grabs one of the pints of beer and just throws it against the wall behind us. If anyone like picked up a pint of beer or any glass, threw it against the wall and completely shattered it, in America, like they'd be gone. They'd be out. So I mean, that's kind of what we were expecting. And it didn't happen. The manager had sort of been hovering on our tables the entire night and just was sort of chummy and just didn't do anything. Like it kind of blew over. So I thought that was odd, but we just kept kind of talking. The Polish guy in our group was trying to calm him down a little bit. I think they were talking politics of what it sounded like. And at one point, maybe like 5 minutes later, he grabs another glass and pounds it down on our table. Completely shatters it. There's beer everywhere. And the guy starts bleeding from his hand profusely. I mean, so at this point, I mean, we're already kind of like, the guy walks in, he looks sort of Mafia-esque. Then they start drinking like some Italian boss with just straight vodka shots. Then he breaks one glass. He breaks a second glass. We're like, okay, this guy, I mean, he's got his henchmen around him. He's obviously alpha. What's going on here? This is really a weird situation. It's my first night in Poland. But even the guys that had been there, like, they'd never seen anything like this. And I never saw anything like this for the rest of my time in Poland either. So we're expecting him to get kicked out. And the manager just doesn't do anything. And we're like, okay, we need to get our check and get out of here. But thankfully, some guy who we'd never seen, all black, security looking guy, walks in and like walks the guy out. He worked for him. He was one of his guys. So we're like, okay, still, we need to close out and get out of here. So that's taking some time. 5 minutes later, the guy walks back in. Still bleeding from his hand profusely. And he just walks up to our Polish-speaking friend, wraps him up in a hug, starts talking to his ear, puts his hand on his bald head, is just bleeding all over his head. But we're like, at this point, talking to the manager, who is this guy? Like what's going on? And he's like being coy. He won't tell us. Trying to pull information just so we can send up a report through the embassy. The whole thing was off. Like 3 more guys walk in black, not grab the guy, but sort of, circle around him and walk him out, escort him out. So we're like, we need to leave. We walk out. To the left of this club is, maybe like 50 meters away, 3 dark vehicles, maybe like a Mercedes and 2 vans. This guy, his 2 henchmen, and like 5 or 6 dudes, security guys in just black. And we turn the corner on the club and just start running, trying to get to a safe place so we can order an Uber. I love Warsaw. Never felt unsafe again in Warsaw, but I mean, Eastern Europe is a crazy place, and I'm like freaking out from day one of this deployment. Like, what's gonna happen? This is gonna be insane. I got a couple more stories like this that I'm gonna share with you guys, but for now, see you guys next week.